Okay, welcome back to another Unreal stream. I'm back this time. We had Deepak doing an awesome virtual production stream last week, and as a one-off, and we'll see what bringing him back again later on. Louis says, "Hey there." Simon says, "Hey," and then Dave's here. Awesome, excellent. Glad to see you here. Don't really have. I don't really have. Hey, Sarah's here. I don't really have a really solid plan today. I was actually trying to sit there and think about like, what am I going to do today? But it's, you know, after 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden you're just like, what the heck were we working on? I've forgotten what we were doing. So yeah, we're gonna have to sort of like make it work after we're done taking a look at Mark's project. Mark actually posted his project earlier in the week that he did in Unreal. And really interesting because he's got a sound background, so a music background, and so and his brother also is working with sound. So it's a very interesting acoustical experience as well as a visual one. And so we're going to take a playthrough of that so that we can show it off as he's now moved on to a new project and working on something new. So it could be so we might as well appreciate it while it's still fresh. So me being me, I have not even opened the project in the sense of preparing it for the stream. So I am like pretty far from being really ready here. But we did have this project going during the class, so I do know it'll run. I just gotta go chase it down and get it running again. I didn't even really give Mark a very good heads up that we're gonna be doing this today. So hopefully he doesn't mind that we're showing it off. He did post in the channel for on Slack there, so I'll just jump over to that. He just posted it up here, so this one right here. So it's not like he's trying to hide it from people. And actually, Ben also has an awesome project, which I think we're going to show next week. If I don't, I'm going to try to see if I can convince Will to jump in and do a surprise stream, but I haven't asked him yet, and I haven't got confirmation. So we're gonna see about that. But he may show up next week if he's really gung ho for it. Otherwise, we'll just it'll just be me back here again, and we'll keep going, trying to figure out what else we're gonna do. If you guys have any questions, of course, feel free to bring them up. I'm willing to take a look at some stuff. We had some interesting conversations today, getting ready for the tech artist course again. It's always interesting classes or meetings because we're discussing all kinds of like, what can we do this? Can we fit that in? And we have a new mentor member, Matthew Doyle, who is also somebody who's creating content with Unreal and has had sort of a long-standing history of making some stuff, so you might recognize his name and some of his content. Anyway, he's joined our force and has agreed today to take on a few weeks of content. So it should be interesting what kind of knowledge he provides. He's more of a technical kind of environment sort of person. That's sort of his area. So we're going to try and get him to bring his knowledge forth for optimization and that sort of thing. And then also he knows a fair bit. He's had to do a fair bit of studying of the control rig system in Unreal. So I'm pretty excited to try to do a control rig week in the course. I know it's tough because it's so new, and this always is the problem with new features, is that you can't really, you try to provide as much knowledge as you can, but the feature is still very beta and still changing, and it's very difficult to predict where it's gonna go. But anyway, he's done a fair bit of work on researching it, so we're gonna try and see if we can dedicate him a week. And that's the plan right now. I don't know, it might change, but kind of fun and exciting because I'm really excited about the control rig in Unreal personally, but I do know that it's also very risky because of the fact that it's, as we talked about in previous streams, we tried to use it. We ran into some situations where the joints, you can't like constrain an IK limb to something other than the world. So And maybe if you get into the wiring and you can set up something that allows it to change it, but based on what the meta-human can do, you can't actually do that from what I could find. So it is a lot of learning to do still. Anyways, so here we are with Mark's project. I'm going to set it so that it opens a new editor like this. Yep. And we're going to play through. Let me just make sure that I'll turn my background music down, or maybe just turn it off. Get my desktop audio is already working, so hopefully that will kick in. We'll give it a launch. Desktop audio is not working. Why does it say it's working and yet it doesn't work? That's always fun. Let's see here. I just do this. There we go. Now we got it. Let's try that again. We'll do one more try. There we go. It's got a cool interface, and that doesn't make any sense. So I've obviously broken the version that he's giving me here. Oh goodness. I'm ruining it. I forgot that I threw that in there. I was trying to show him another way to do it. Let's talk about it. So he's done a cool way. So the problem that's happening right now is that his level is loading, but the character is falling. So he's done a careful way of like switching it so that the character doesn't get spawned until after the level's finished loading. Or I think you switch the player, and then I was like, oh man, just change the gravity or something. I broke it. That's we're not even the right level. Let's just unzip the project from its source again. And that way, I don't have to worry about screwing around with this. Hopefully it doesn't mean I have to recompile the shaders though. Oh no, I hadn't thought of that. Well, there you go. I may have created much more chaos than I needed to here. It might pick up that I already compiled the shaders. Just noticed a indication of the new game that Epic has released. That was kind of fun. They were keeping it all a secret. And it looks like it's... I think that's what they were saying. Let me just check first. Oh, it's NBA. That was the new game. It's pretty big. Alright. No compiled shaders required. Alright, so we're good. Let's try this again. New editor window. JD Smith, I've come to help grade the student work. All right. That's excellent. Glad we have some help here. So I'm going to hit play, and we're going to do this. And it's a little cinematic sequence. So you'll probably recognize a lot of these assets. These are coming from one of the resources, free resources you can access from Unreal, where you get the character and some of the rock environments and stuff. But there's a lot of stuff that Mark has added that isn't part of the free asset. But the character is free asset. I think he's actually gone and adjusted some of the features, like how the jump works. But he's also put in this nice grass, and you can hear the sound effects. Hopefully you can hear the sound effects of the grass moving around. And he's changed it so that when you jump and run and you stand and jump, there's a slightly different way to do it. Oh, ancient ruins, I'm finally getting close. Portal should be nearby. So, and this game is really a huge portion is about jumping. So you'll notice, now that I'm on rocks, it's making rock noises as he's walking, as opposed to grass noises. So Mark kind of did his own work on that one and looked into how to do it. It's actually apparently not that hard to apply different types of physical materials to different types of meshes. But he did a really nice job of, including different sound effects depending on what kind of object he's walking on. And another big part that he was working on was trying to get the sky system and the environment looking really nice. That was the first thing he was really working on. So he did a really nice moon effect there that's in the background. And one of the interesting discoveries or challenges he had. Oh, just got to open the gate. One of the interesting challenges he had was he wanted to put like a bit of the cloud system in front of the moon, but he couldn't get the draw order to be right. So finally, at the very end of the project, like a month later, he finally discovered what the checkbox was in the material editor that allowed you to have the fog or the volumetric fog draw in the right order. There we go. I got the blue key attained. This game, by the way, gets extremely challenging, so I probably won't be able to get all the way through it without cheating. Also, the little widgets and stuff that are popping up was really neat. Lots of experimenting on his front and Ben's front, which he's working with in the same intake. They're really we're looking at all kinds of interesting ways to link triggers to each other, and made some pretty cool discoveries. So here we go. This is a really cool sequence here, using Niagara effects. So that's totally awesome. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty impressed. I'm like, dude, this is amazing. You've got Niagara effects, and you got sound effects, and it's got a nice look to it. It's pretty impressive. So then you're tempted to want to go over here, but then you find out that you just don't have the ability to jump far enough. So now you gotta find another way. Involves getting another key, so that you can somehow figure out how to get across. I think we took a look at this character asset once before in one of the streams, because it's like a whole Unreal project that you can open up and look at. And the really neat thing about this character is that it's all done using different types of tinting. Like, you can change the character itself is black and white, but then each of the colors being added is being done inside of Unreal, and you're able to pick and choose what kind of color. I can't go this way, I can't jump far enough. What kind of color you want, and so you could, change it all sorts of different randomness dynamically in the game, rather than having your color preset inside a Substance Painter or something. You can decide it later afterwards. Might also need the green key. I feel like Duke Nukem now. See? For all those Duke Nukem fans collecting keys. Wow, I don't know what just happened there. That was weird. I teleported to the floor. I wonder if I had a negative jump speed. I gotta log that bug, send it to him. I won't do the whole playthrough because I'm gonna die soon. I mean, I'm not gonna die yet. Oh shoot. Did I just predict the future? That was impressive. That wasn't my intention though. I was talking about something else later on. Ah, shoot. Now I gotta do this all over again. Anyways, the level gets pretty challenging. And I haven't even got to the hard part yet, so I don't know. It was kind of unfair. I was doing pretty good until I suddenly hit this, like, bug that affected my ability to jump. Oh, and then the other problem is I don't have to figure out how to switch this up to the other map. Well, I think what we can do in the meantime, while I'm being casual here, we can take a look at some of the stuff that he's got set up. But actually, let's go take a look if we can get over to level 1 and then open up the level blueprint. Now I gotta remember how exactly he had it set up so that we don't actually... This is audio fade in, delay, player start, spawn point, start stream level. What happens if I just play it again? Oh, it'll play probably from the Oh, if we just cancel the cinematic, disconnect that. Oh wait, this is the part. This is the part I was talking about before. In order for him to start, he has to spawn the character into the level. So we'll see if I can get this figured out here. This is playing the sequencer. This is waiting till the audio, spawn audio fade in, delay, cast to our game, find the player start, delay for 21 seconds. If I just do this. There we go. Audrey, hey, welcome. All right, I've just hacked the game. So we're gonna go and do a little bit of maneuvering here. Let's see here. Where was I? Jump, jump, jump. Oh, I'm not supposed to be over there. So then you jump, jump, jump. You get across these pieces here. And then I'll start here. No, I won't, because I haven't got it set properly. Current camera location. Oh, shoot. Wait, hold on. Oh, I'm a little bit stumped. Because basically he's taking the player start actor location and deciding that that's going to be the spawn transform. So what if we... Where does the actual start level spawn? Let's do this instead. Oh. I can't do that because I haven't passed. Oh no! I don't remember. It was too complicated. Let's try this. Where am I? Not picking the spawn location correctly. Ugh. Well, I've kind of put myself in a tough spot here, haven't I? I had this plan where I was gonna like get it to spawn wherever I wanted to. I could get rid of the player start, I guess, but he's got this complicated setup going on where he's trying to make it so that he's manually spawning the character after the cinematic's over. Let's see if we can just get rid of the player start, or maybe move the player start. What if we just get rid of it? No. I don't really want to do it this way, but all I wanted to show you was that there's these moving blocks over here. It'd be kind of fun to just play through it and show you the other game mechanic that he has, which isn't really that sophisticated or amazing, but might be kind of fun to do. And then I'll put this back on there again. So he's basically spawning. You're putting the spawn transform where the player start is. So you should be right where the player start was. So he's got this other mechanic here where you have these yellow blocks that you can land on, but you can only stand on them for 2 seconds, and then they lose their collision ability, which is kind of cool. And then so your job is to carefully time it out so that you can get across the entire thing, which works pretty good if you can get it figured out. But if you get it on the wrong pace, then the one's too high to land on. So, but you could even hear the sound effects of the ground sound a little different when you're walking on it. And then you get to another checkpoint, and then you've got like 500 of these to do. So this is where the game gets really hard. It wasn't even at the point where I was yet, so I'm not doing a very good job of playing this game. But you work your way over here, and after many attempts, and then over here you have a green key. So you grab your green key, and then you work your way all the way back over here again, so that, oh, actually I think the green key gives you double jump or something, because that must be the case. Because eventually you're going to get double jump. So if I play the game and I hit a secret P key, I can get my double jump obtained. Which you're not supposed to be able to do that normally, but it does give you the ability to do double jump. And that enables you to get far enough across a couple pieces that allow you to like get to the next key challenge, which is also, by the way, extremely hard. So I'm never going to be able to do that either. Can't quite read what somebody wrote. So this is amazing is all I got. Somebody wrote this is amazing. So it's just awesome. Oh, I can hit Alt Tab. Oh, Audrey did. There we go. And now I gotta jump back. So now he's got another game mechanic here where he's got these double boost things. So you get your checkpoint, and this will like shoot you across, but you still have the double jump capability as well. Oh no, I didn't make it. It allows you to kind of like, which gets, I haven't actually, even in the Q&A when I was playing it, I got through the other parts. I think I did, or maybe I cheated. I don't know. And then I got to this part. I'm like, yeah, right. There's no way I'm doing that because it was just ridiculous. Like you have to land on here, and I'm not really sure if I'm supposed to land here, and then here. Let's see how far I can get. Ah. Yeah, see, I only have 2 seconds to land on there. And then you gotta like ping, 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 ping. Make your way all the way across. She's trying to give me support. You can do it. We'll watch for like your 500th attempt. Oh geez, I didn't even make the little jump there. And then as you get to the top, you get your red key, which is your final key. And that should give you, see the rocks, oh look, the rocks are upside down right now, which is great. So that means you can't jump on those little islands down there to get to the portal, which normally would be unlocked if I played the whole level through. but then you get the red key and it lets you get to the last part and you can finish the game. So it's pretty awesome, really. There's lots of interesting game mechanics. And by the way, you can play this game. It's just here. The Google Drive link is there, so you can download it, unzip it, and play it. I think he's got the compiled version of it, so you don't even need the Unreal Editor to play it. And really give it a good run through. But it's just been a really interesting, as from a mentor's perspective, watching him go through this. And I mean, you know, it was him and Ben who were like both Benjamin Oman, who were both working really closely together. Ben's got a really nice project as well. I wasn't really planning on showing it today because I was going to like save it for the next week. And plus I want to make sure that he gives me the latest version that he's happy with. But they both have been working pretty hard together to explore all these Unreal features, and you know, I try my best to give them whatever help I can in my Q&A, but they've gone far beyond what, you know, we normally would be worrying about in our 12-week game production course, and really kind of taken it on themselves to find some solutions to some of these really complex problems. Anyway, they're in Slack. You can chat with them, ask them questions. They're pretty friendly people. So if there's anything you wanted to ask them about, feel free to reach out to them. And they're actually working currently on a new project that is they got a new idea and they're planning something new. We've only they kind of took this on. Just for context, we were halfway through term 2 of Foundations, and they already were like, let's go jump into the next thing, because they already finished all the weeks. And so they jumped into Unreal. We gave them access to it early. And now, so this is like, you know, 6 weeks of course, and then they're already at this stage and ready to move on to a new project. And now I think we're in week 3 now for the game production. So they're really zooming ahead. It's pretty amazing. Of course, it's also extremely overwhelming for all the other students in the class because they're just like, what the heck? They're just going crazy. Audrey says, can you throw things around? Interesting. That's all I require to break stuff. That sounds like what the other challenge we were having, trying to move physics objects around. At the moment, no, there's no way to do any throwing around. However, like I said before, we had an open session for anybody who has access to our open session Unreal, who was basically everybody who's enrolled in a course that's related to it, currently enrolled. We did a Q&A earlier this week that talked about how to do custom physics stuff, and really interesting, so well worth checking that out if you can. Unfortunately, if you're not enrolled, then you don't get access to that stuff, but that's just how it goes, unfortunately. But we did talk about using some custom physics assets to be able to pick objects up and move them. But we didn't really solve the problem so much as we were just sort of identified what a potential solution was, and you know, the theory behind it, where you're basically changing the physics asset type as you're picking it up, and then the other assets will be a different type of physics, so you can't necessarily influence them unless you're picked it up, and then you can influence it. But what was really neat about it, and the setup that he had, was it actually let you do a line trace to an object, and then that object then became constrained, and you could, everywhere your mouse went, the object followed through a constraint. And it looked like you were playing Portal or something, and you're actually like levitating objects around. So it was pretty effective, but yeah, lots of little tricks and nuances as you go. Louis says, you said open sessions. Yes, so we have open sessions for everybody who's enrolled in, obviously you can see that every department has an open session, and everybody who's actively enrolled in a course has access to their open session. The Unreal development is the only unique one where not only does it have people from the game development, but we also include people from modeling and animation and VFX, as they all potentially could be using Unreal in their class and course. So Audrey's upset because think she's taking digital art concepts, so she does not have access to the Unreal, unfortunately. However, what is interesting is that Lou does have a good argument as to why he probably should be included in the Unreal, for the sake of using Quixel assets as reference in your concept art. Prevising your shot beforehand. There's a really interesting point there, and using Unreal to prepare your shot, and just like what we would do. People sometimes do this in Blender, and obviously in Maya and stuff, to prepare your concept shot in 3D before you actually do a paint over. There might be an argument to also, but to be honest, I feel like most people that get included in this open session are like overwhelmed. They're like, what am I doing here? I don't belong here. But meanwhile, I'm like, well, technically, this is pretty useful for you. Yeah, see, there you go. There's like, what about 2D artists? Come on. Well, we could definitely talk about it. I hadn't actually considered it until you brought up the point. So, Audrey's crying. He's learning 3D integration and Unreal. It's amazing. So, who do we need to ask for to get this to happen for us? I guess it would be me. And I'm gonna have to talk to Jeremy and stuff and figure out if it's a good idea to throw everybody in there, or whether maybe we can just handpick people to get included in that channel. It is a free hour of Q&A that I do one every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, and Justin does his on Saturday, and talks about different things. So I'm definitely getting kind of convinced right now. It does seem interesting that the concept could be involved, and this is what's so interesting about Unreal, is that it doesn't it's not exclusive at all. It's incredibly inclusive for all sorts of different areas. So yeah, I'll put that down as a thing to do. Yeah, see, Dave's all for it. More the merrier. That's right. I'll write it down right now. We'll talk about it in the next one. I'll make sure Brandon's in the loop before I do something excessive like this. Because it can be, it just means 2 more notifications in your Slack every week. That's the other downside, right? Like, you're gonna get this little pop-up that says, hey, there's an open session, and if it's not what you want, then it's like, oh no. Lou says, I'm doing a Dome Strika course, basic course of Unreal for architectural view. Oh, awesome. Dome Strika? I've never heard of that. Is that a online course service for learning stuff? That makes sense. And it is to learn the basics. Gonna be learning. Sarah says, I want to join. I can't believe there's a channel. I'm not in it. Oh no, Sarah's another reason why you can't be part of that. See, now I'm letting out all these secrets. This is all only CGS stuff. So yeah, man, now I'm gonna get all sorts of people upset at me for talking about it. Sorry, Sarah. Although Sarah can't even be in the channel anyways, because you're all finished with call arts now. Unfortunately, but you're still welcome to stay in our Slack community. That's for sure. Yeah, I'm getting in trouble. But I mean, we're always here to help. And there's, to be fair, the meetings are very technical, and I'm always just happy people are showing up, because sometimes they're just ridiculous. Like last time we were talking about physics assets and stuff, and I'm like, or physics, custom physics, and I'm like, I hope people are gonna watch this. Like, it's very technical. People do seem to like Justin's Noir, though. He's doing more environment art and, you know, being more concerned about aesthetics and pipelines and workflows and stuff. So they are pretty good. Awesome. Okay, so here we are. We're at a junction point where I don't know what the heck I'm going to do next. There was something that I kind of left off last time I was talking 2 weeks ago, where we were going to talk about that environment art level. Like, we were just in the midst of trying to figure out how to get the MetaHumans plugin working in Maya, and trying to get environment art, this new environment tool set working. And both of them weren't working before the stream was over. And oh yeah, Audrey's got a new bunny. It's a pretty cute bunny. I mean, when do bunnies not look cute? But a baby bunny is pretty cute. Shoot, now I lost my train of thought. Oh, and then both those things I couldn't get done before the end of the stream, but they both actually did finish, and they both worked after the stream was over. So I was able to get the plugin to work, and the character it imported. I guess it was mostly just getting they get the textures working. We got the textures working right at the very end using DirectX 11. But then we found out that the animation competition seemed like it wasn't even supposed to include Maya. It had to do it actually in Unreal, which we had done the week before that. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get back into that one. So I think the main goal should be, to get this environment art. I can't even remember what it was called, but it's like a toolkit you can use for landscaping and stuff. So since we're just talking about, with Louis talking about how he's trying to learn some stuff like that, this might actually be a nice segue into that direction. Better turn off my desktop audio so I don't get any unexpected Slack pings. Roger says he's extra cute. He's I should actually just show a picture of him since you posted it just a little while ago. Where was it? In random? There you go. Cutest bunny ever. I think it's the size of the eyes. You know, when you get an eye scale that big, I mean, you're just coming straight out of cartoon world right there. It's just, how can you beat that? All right. Let me see if I can find that project. So we had, I might have to recreate it because I can't remember. Oh, auto landscape, is that what it was? That sounds good. Let's do that. That was on April 9th. Is that 2 weeks ago? Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was. No, that was 3 weeks ago. Oh no, this is it though. So I don't know. Audrey says he's small, as big as my hand. Really? That small? Doesn't look that small. I thought he was a bit bigger, but I guess he's just a bunny. Yeah, I suppose that is. It's hard to tell with the scale. Maybe that's why the eyes are so big. Okay, I get it. Yeah, you're right. You gotta keep the proportions correct. The eyes don't grow. That's the whole concept. It's a good reference for you digi painters. All right, so this is the landscape. We were waiting this for like forever on the last stream that I was talking about it to compile all the shaders. It took forever, but this is using the fancy odd landscape tool. Oh, you can definitely see a transition there, where we get into a micro detail, which is a totally different texture material when you get up close. But then it transitions to a different texture material, which gets you, you know, a different kind of look and perspective. And then there's that cool cell mixing option as well that randomizes it, so you can't see any kind of particular pattern, as this very organic look to it. And I think it's definitely one of those things you don't realize it until you actually try to do it yourself, how virtually impossible it is to not have a looping pattern in your textures. So having some kind of like automated randomizing tool set to take care of it for you is pretty amazing. This is a material instance of the material, and to be fair, I haven't really spent any time researching this, so we're going to kind of explore this together. Oh, here it is. Use cell bomb. All right, let's try this on and off and see if I can actually see any difference. Turn that side off. Oh man, I definitely see a difference. It looks very grid-like now. That definitely made a difference. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so you can definitely see the looping pattern as it cuts across. Oh, what we got here? Audrey says it's a mini dwarf. Oh, is he really? Is that a mini dwarf bunny? Is that you say? Oh, no, you have a laughing face. Maybe that's not a bunny name. I don't know my bunnies at all, so you could say it's a special dwarf bunny, and I'd be like, oh, I didn't know that. I'll make a model. Pose. Hold still. But you can see the looping pattern here and what's happening across the thing, and it's like impossible. You can't make a texture that doesn't have a looping pattern when you back up far enough. It just is the way. Unless you have like pure green, and then obviously you can get away with it. But as soon as you put any kind of thing in there, you'll see the pattern. So this cell bomb, which is very cool, just sort of scatters that and makes it more organic, so you can't see that anymore. And from the video, they're like, "Oh, we just added this thing at the last minute," and I was like, "Whoa, that's amazing!" But this might actually be a common technique in a lot of tools that I've just not even seen before. But I know how valuable it is when I saw that they could do that. So it's a landscape material, and landscape materials are way more complex than most materials in Unreal because of the fact that they have to not only deal with complex stuff like this, where you're switching from high detail to low detail, but you're also including all the layer system for when you're doing landscape painting, so that each one of these materials you can paint onto the surface of the landscape mesh. This is a special landscape actor, and decide whether you want one type of material or another. And even more complicated is it changes the material type depending on how steep the surface of the mesh is. So you get like 3 times, you get like a fantastically complex thing going on, just so you can have this really nice looking mesh without having to hand paint all this stuff. It all just kind of auto generates. Yeah, it's like it still uses textures, but it's procedurally deciding where to put the textures. So if it's a flat surface, it'll put it on one, and if it's not, then it puts like a rocky texture on there. Yeah. Louis says, I'm learning shading with nodes in Blender. Yeah. And nodes, like, yeah, controlling materials and shaders in Blender or in Maya is a fairly lengthy process, very complicated. And, in Maya in particular, it's like if you're working with Arnold renders, then you have to make sure you're using Arnold shaders to output that correctly. But if you're using something else like, I don't know, Maya software, then you wouldn't be wanting to use any of those Arnold materials necessarily. So there is a whole bunch of complexity there, and the same stuff happens here in Unreal as well. In fact, if you're going to be spending a lot of time setting up a shader in Blender, it's a bit of a waste of time if you're going to eventually put it into Unreal, because you're just going to have to redo all that work again to replicate that look inside of Unreal. So unless you're using a plugin like with Substance Painter, where you can have a plugin that will connect all the functionality of the dynamicness of some of these smart materials so that it's inside of Unreal, and then you're just playing with the same sliders through the plugin inside of Unreal. Or you could just bake the textures out. What is this? Virtual texture blend with Megascan example. Oh, it's that piece. This is another cool feature that they talked about in the video, where they have the ability to combine. You can see that the landscape material is merging with the Megascan mesh, so that there's a blend that's happening. Obviously, you wouldn't normally move Megascan static meshes like this around, so you wouldn't normally notice that the meshes are floating, or the textures, I mean. But but you can see the way that the surfaces look like they're joined together is actually a very complicated thing to achieve, and something that a lot of environment artists are always trying to solve through various tricks. Usually it's just adding decals or meshes and doing sneaky things to prevent that seam line. You can clearly see where two meshes collide, but this is doing a neat way of actually placing some of the material of one object on top of the other. And I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea how they do that. I just know that there's many alternate solutions out there, and they're all very complicated. This is pretty high level problem solving. We can take a look though. Let's see if we can find out some of the cool stuff that's happening here. This is the rock mesh. I see no rock. So 3D instance using a material. This is a material this is a a static mesh? Material instance. Yeah, they definitely seem to be doing something pretty fancy here, because we're looking at, like, I don't know, it's almost like a virtual object. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the material itself can't be displayed here. But that's so hard to work with. Let's drag another one of these in, see what happens. Oh wow. Why did my environment turn into Minecraft? There we go. Yeah, that material just keeps working with every time I add it in there, it uses the materials around it. Pretty amazing. Sarah says, is the landscape material from a free market asset? Yes, it is. This is a free asset. Audrey says, no, you're not wrong. It's the programs that's wrong. See, that's what I keep telling everybody. Why does nobody listen? Yeah, it's free. Let me see if I can find it again. Auto Landscape, that's what it's called. I think it's like a Gumtree thing though, so I don't know. We'll see if we can find it in the marketplace. Otherwise, I'll just do a search. Oh, I forgot what it's called already. Auto Landscape, right? Yeah. Man, it doesn't want me to type all the letters. Auto Landscape. That's not it, because it's not free. Oh, let's try to find it on Google. Hey, I lost my music a long time ago. Let me turn that back on again. There we go. Google, where are you? Alright, and what else do we have here? Auto Landscape. There's definitely a video about it. Alright. I'm not finding it. Let me, Oh, Audrey has a question about my replacement for my screen. Well, thank you for asking. I have discovered that a simple HDMI cable replacement was all I needed. So, to my much disappointment and chagrin, I suppose, I don't actually get to buy a new monitor. Turns out I just need a new cable. I actually just swapped the one from my upstairs TV, and it hasn't happened since. So there you go. If your computer monitor is turning on and off repeatedly particularly after it runs really hard, it ends up, it isn't necessarily anything expensive to replace but your cable itself. Actually, I think Dave did mention this once upon a time, if he's still here, that replacing HDMI cable has fixed things in the past. And I could come and break it for you. You just take a sledgehammer to my monitor, please, so that I can buy a new one. That would be that'd be what I want right now. Here it is. It's in Unreal Materials. Free landscape. But it's a good thing I put that in the library. I would never have found it again. Here's the Gumroad. Unreal Engine Auto Landscape. If you put in Unreal 5, really? You get 100% off. So you can put whatever amount of money you want in there, add to cart, put Unreal 5 in there, and it ends up being 0. Now, I definitely encourage you to pay him money. I don't want to say rip the guy off, but if you're not actually doing it for a product that you're going to be making money from, then I don't feel that you should be paying money for it necessarily. Antonio, hey, welcome. Neither the motherboard. I was worried it was going to be the motherboard. That's true. I was actually really concerned. I was like, I tried the cable thing just out of like, well, I better do this first because I don't want to spend too much time looking into what I'm supposed to do. And then it turns out it worked. But meanwhile, I'm like thinking, man, if that motherboard has to get replaced, I have all my computer nicely overclocked, all set up in a process in a way that's like stable, and it's been running for a couple of years like this. And I'm like, I'd have to do all that over again. It's like terrible. Dave, now you just need to change the hard drive. Yes, and you're right. That just happened earlier in my stream here, where my window showed up, my Explorer window saying, hey, your hard drive just showed up again. So I clearly have not fixed that problem yet. In fact, I thought that was going to be related to why my monitor was turning on and off, but apparently it wasn't. And then Louis says, do you need a super PC for Unreal Engine? Oh, that's actually a legit question. No, you don't really need a super computer, but you need something. The better the computer, the better your experience is going to be. But technically, Unreal Engine is pretty good at being flexible. In fact, if you go in here under the settings, you can change the engine scalability settings for extremely low, and it takes away a lot of the extra details that make your computer struggle. Or if you just set it to auto, like currently is, it'll just automatically shift it around. So it's a game engine, so it's actually really good for being optimized to be able to handle different computer configurations. But it's but yeah, your experience is much better when you're not having issues where like your video memory fills up or your RAM or something. So having a nice faster computer does make it a more fun of a process. Louis has an i7, 16 gigabyte RAM and a 4 gigabyte GPU. Oh yeah, for video memory. Yeah, that's probably fine. That sounds pretty good. Let me see here. Part of that. No, you got the video memory and the RAM. I don't know what your megahertz is on your i7, but it's an i7, so it'll probably be pretty good. There's some pretty fantastic video cards you can buy that do some amazing things, but it depends on what you're trying to do. I mean, if you're really trying to make a super crazy complex scene, then yeah, maybe an awesome video card is going to be really useful, but you'll be surprised how much you can do with minimal processing. Like, for example, if you're using the Foliage tool and you're painting forests, it's amazing. You can paint giant forests and like you're still moving around. You wouldn't even realize, because they're doing special LODing so that the further away the asset is, the less polygons and meshes it uses, and it allows you to really actually get away with it. Actually, speaking of which, I never really did do the painting thing. Let me just show you. I'm also curious to see what kind of their painting options we have here. We got material. Oh, these are, what are these? Sand? Or is it just totally not going to work? I'm going to have to make a new weighted blend layer asset into the project so that I can paint with this. And then when I start painting, I think if I hold, shoot, how do I, yeah, anyways, if I start painting one of the squares, it has to recompile the whole square for that, is that one brush stroke. I was trying to figure out how to make the brush bigger, but and I'm sure there's a hotkey, I just don't know what it is. So let's take a closer look at this. We've got, it looks like sand or something. I don't know what that is. Let me just paint it a little more thick. It actually looks like concrete or something. Oh, maybe it's my brush. Whoops, how do I stop? Yeah, it's like a little grid. Yeah, it looks like it's, I don't know why there's a grid there. Maybe it's supposed to be snow. I don't know. I have no idea. What is that? Why is it white? But why does it look like dirt? It's like salt plains. But it's pretty neat that you can just paint on it like that. It's actually quite cool. There's all kinds of, like, it really lets you can choose. Maybe this is just an empty material. I never really thought about it. Maybe it's a placeholder for you to put your own material in, and that's just like the normal map that we're seeing on a white base. Oh, I gotta add my weighted blended for another one. Let's see what this other one is. And make sure I have it selected, and then I can paint it. So, you know, if you wanted specific areas to have different look to them. Wait, why does that look exactly the same? Maybe it's this one that doesn't exist yet. Oh, weird. I don't know, they look identical. At least we had one example that looked a little different. Otherwise I wouldn't have been able to prove anything. Let's try this one, just in case. This is the problem when you haven't actually tried it out before. I really have no idea what I'm going to get next. And we'll look into... Oh, here we go. There's something different. Oh yeah, that's like chocolate chip cookies, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what they're going for. Yeah, that's pretty good though. Let's see if we can take a little bit look at how to modify it. Let's see what we get. We'll go to the landscape material, open it up. This is the material instance, so you're only just getting the superficial kind of settings that are exposed to you from the parent. The parent is just at the bottom here. So this is the part that's really complex, but you should be able to get most of your work done inside of the material instance without worrying about breaking anything. So you can just swap out these textures with ones that you want to put in yourself, and it becomes sort of your color map, your normal map, and your roughness map, which is a black and white value. And you can play with some of the settings for it. Let's see what else we got here. Material B, so I guess this is working our way down. This is the second material on the layers, so that was material A, material B. Oh no, this is material A, material B. Oh, blend. Yeah, I wonder what that means. So it would allow you to change. Oh yeah, see, these ones are the white ones. They haven't actually been set up yet with anything. So they're just the default white. using the default normal map or something. Or the, yeah, normal map. And material E and D and E and Z. Oh, distance variation. That could be cool. That's probably for like how far it is between it switching from maybe high level detail to low level detail. Here's your Z slope and what the bias is. I wonder if I change that, what will happen? Oh yeah, all our rocks disappeared over here. And they're not coming back. Oh, there they come. So, 11 seems to be the threshold that we're talking about here. But you can definitely see how it's, your Z is, how steep that hill is. So those are the settings. And then if you jump over to the parent, which it says M underscore, so it's the material as opposed to, well, these are material functions, but these are materials. And the one I'm looking at here is MI, so material instance. So in the material, you get to see how it's wired together. And these are overwhelming, and like with most material, like it's the same thing with Substance Painter. You have Substance Painter and Substance Designer. So in Substance Designer is like what you'd be doing here, where you're setting it up in the material, and then in Substance Painter is where you get like the, here's your list of options that you can work with. So when we were talking before with Louis about how you would have, you know, you'd be setting up your shaders and stuff in Blender, you know, you're doing the same sort of thing. You're doing the same thing here in Maya. But this is this is pretty interesting, what the kind of functionality you can do inside of the material editor, and it goes very deep. It becomes very much a technical artist kind of role. So usually the idea is you steal somebody else's brilliant idea and you just use it. That's normally what you do. But if you do, or at least even if you're the kind of person that wants to create something new, you steal someone else's idea and then you manipulate it into something that makes it do what you want to do, which means a lot of reverse engineering to figure out what they did and then working with that. So you're not expected to like, oh, I'm gonna make my own thing and then you're gonna make a node and make a node. Like it's very hard to sort of just do that and then also try to build an awesome scene. A lot of these things can also open up into other stuff. So here's a material function that's got the MF. So if I double click on that, that brings me inside of what the material function is. So it can be a little misleading in terms of what is happening inside of these things. And here's our layer blend that's putting together all the different layers. So here's some material functions. So each one of these have a setup inside of them as well. So yeah, it gets pretty intimidating for sure, but you don't really have to understand everything that's going on here. And this is, I gotta say, probably one of the worst things to look at, because if you're looking at it for simplicity's sake, because it's really landscape materials are just really complicated. Looks like they have the foliage feature here. This is kind of cool. I don't know if that's a checkbox that needed to be turned on still. Material A, foliage, true or false? And you'll also see, whenever you see a parameter, this is a parameter, it's what will be exposed to the material instance. So you should be able to find like material A in here or something. I don't know, just assuming. Is it A material? Or was it material A? Anyway, so all these parameters will get shown up inside of here. That's what dictates what is visible and what's not. I would like to turn on that foliage. It would be awesome if we could. I just don't know where. I don't remember seeing it when I was going through here. I'm not sure if it's related to the specific each one. It must be though. So we got A material, which we're definitely using. Let's see if I can find it. Foliage, pattern scale. full triplanar projection. Ooh, triplanar projection. That's cool. That's where you have three, I guess it would be three planar projections put onto the same object at the same time. Sometimes you can do that for like rocks and stuff to really remove the sense that there's like, you know, if you project something in one way, everything on the side will be stretched, but a triplanar one will print it 3 times and then do this crazy blend so that there isn't a sense that there is one particular side that it's projecting from. Audrey, steal like an artist. Yes. See, Audrey knows what I'm talking about. It's all about stealing. I think you're supposed to say inspired, though. Maybe not stealing. It's a little too obvious, so you're inspired by this really complicated blueprint. What? Sure. I never did see the foliage, so I don't know. It's kind of disappointed. It's hoping there would just be like the checkbox that says enable. So I'm just gonna leave it, but it's too bad. Because in there's another automatic landscaping tool called Brushify, or you know, another artist that's making stuff that have really nice landscape, but you have to pay for Brushify. But it also throws in automatic foliage meshes on top of the landscape. So when you get really deep and close, you can actually see grass on the grass, and if you're over by the rocks, and you'll see like little pebbles and stuff actually sitting on the surface. I mean, you can manually do that too. It might be a good segue into talking about that, but oh, I don't know if I have any foliage assets. Maybe that's why. Let's see if we got any here. Sarah, I have some Brushify. They were free 1 month. Yes. Back about 6 months ago. Just go back in your time machine. Go and download the free Brushify assets from the marketplace. And you'll have yourself a few of them. I think there was two Brushify assets that were free. I should actually talk about that a little bit. So every month there's free assets. This is specifically for Louis, where you can go grab them because they're only available for 1 month, and they cost money otherwise. So you go grab them and then download them, or make sure you process them through your shopping cart so that you actually have them. And then you can use them whenever you want. Audrey, oh well, I'll warm up my time machine then. Yeah, ah, jeez. So many things can get done if you had a time machine, right? Like, jeez. Why? What's taking us so long to build the stupid time machine? Sarah, yeah, a general one. And an Arctic one. Yeah, that's right. I think there was an Arctic one as well. And then, I'm waiting for the library to open. Anyway, eventually you'll end up with a whole collection of assets, which is very cool. The computer is having a heyday right now, trying to load all this stuff. I was gonna scroll down. I don't know why I can't do it. Just scroll down. But you'll end up with a whole collection of assets that you can come back to, and they're actually really helpful. You can always go back and like, oh geez, I could really use this menu interface tool, or I could really use this other thing that lets you get stuff done. Sarah says, I'd go to Woodstock. Oh, time machines we're talking about. And a Led Zeppelin concert. Why am I not surprised? Ever since I've known Sarah, she's talked about Led Zeppelin and her obsession over it. I want to make a time machine game where you can go and when and wherever you want. Oh my goodness, that is the hardest game to ever make, ever. You just invented the absolute most difficult game you could ever... I mean, you just can't beat that. Time machine game. Unless it was completely 100% procedural. It would have to be a completely procedural game. Audrey, I'd go to Japan in the 80s during the financial boom. Wow, that's so specific. I'd play the crap out of it. I'd cheat. I'd go back, and when I know the actual scores, and I'd cheat, and then I'd take all the credit for it. That sounds entertaining. Sarah's thought of it years ago. See? Time machine right there. Well, see, okay, I'm just gonna clarify why it's the hardest game ever. Because you have to make everything. Like, not only everything, but everything. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, now, to be fair, now, you know, I'm not changing the subject too much here. I bought Spore, which is a game that came out in 2009 for my son, because it's a cool game. It's actually surprisingly not on sale at all. Like, Spore has not come down in price. You'd think after 11 years, it would, or 12 years, it would maybe get a little cheaper. But no, apparently it's still really, really expensive. I think it's $30 or something, but still. But what's really neat about Spore is that, like, it is a procedural game. That was kind of the big thing when it came out, was it's like, oh, you can, you know, what do we need animators for anymore? You could just procedurally do everything. You know, it sounds terrible. Like, you don't need modelers or anything. It's all just procedural. But anyways, obviously it didn't turn out that way. And then when you watch the game, you're like, oh yeah, well, it looks a little gimmicky. But it does actually go through the evolution of, like, you know, you're like a little guy in a swimming around, and then you're eating. You can choose whether you're like a veggie eater or a meat eater, and then work your way up to it, and eventually evolve up to, so you're a fighter or protecting yourself, and then you have kids, and you spawn and you grow, and it just goes on and on and on. So here, I guess in a sense, you could have a time machine, because you can jump to any phase of the evolution at any point, because it's very procedural based. And it goes even more complicated. It gets into, like, building houses, and I never actually got this far in the game before, so I don't even know. The best part of the game is where you're this little swimming guy and you're eating other guys. I feel like that's the funnest part. Audrey, Sport was awesome. Yeah, see, Audrey knows this game. I made them absolutely horrendous. Yeah. Yeah, you can be pretty evil, apparently. But anyway, I thought my 6-year-old son would have some fun with it, but I have to sit there and help him through it sometimes, because he doesn't really understand what it is that he's supposed to be doing, and he can't read the screen very well. So I have to keep explaining to him, oh, you're supposed to try and do this now. But he really enjoyed that first part. Anyway, I don't know. We really went off on a tangent on that one. Oh, if you finish in outer space, then you can travel and check out new planets. That sounds kind of fun. So you can just kind of see what other kind of randomness is created. Sure, I've been getting into playing before we leave. Oh, really? Let's see here. Before we leave game. Huh. I don't recognize this one. It's looking very much like, what is it, Civilizations? Is that the game? If you either conquer, to follow in the thought with Audrey here, check out other planets, and if you conquer, you can either conquer or peacefully take over, ask for trades from these new planets. Oh, you can actually, like, trade with them. Cool. Follow what Audrey says. Eat everyone. Wow. You're a vicious leader. I don't know if I'll vote for you. First, if you're on my side, I guess maybe I'll vote for you. Just don't want to be on the other side. Of course, we're not talking democracy if you're saying eat everyone. It's a whole different conversation. Show world builder for questing our impact on the planet. Oh, neat. So is it really a conversation about like global warming and that kind of stuff? Non-violent. It's not for you, Audrey. Sorry. Oh, it's made by Team 17. Man, when did this come out? Oh, it just came out. Well, no wonder I haven't heard about it yet. I'm not on top of things fast enough. That does look cool. So you think it's a pretty good game, Sarah? I'm interested. What am I missing here? Before we leave, was made by a small team in New Zealand. Really? Oh, I didn't know that either. I figured Team 17 it would be English. I was a great president. That's hilarious. That's cool. I'm trying to play games that may help me with my game. Yeah, no, this definitely seems like heading in the same direction as where your concept was. Less on the people side and more on the animal side, I suppose. It's okay, I can make it violent. Oh, wow. She's taking on the challenge. This game is supposed to be non-violent. How are you doing this? Sarah says, yeah, I've become addicted to it since uni finished. Oh, that's where you've been all this time. You have been pretty quiet on the Slack. Yeah, they're doing a live stream right now. It's a live stream of a live stream. That's cool. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Anyway, so here's all our projects that finally loaded. Plenty of them here. And usually when I have a student that's like in need of one of them, I just hand it over to them because I'm like, yeah, sure. I got it for free, so that means you should have it for free. But really in these early development days, and what Unreal really pushes for is just making sure that people have the tools they need to be able to get their ideas done, because as soon as you can get to a point where you can make money selling your game, then they are also making money off you. So it's to their advantage for sure. Let's see, what else can we do now? Gotta find something new. Oh, I wish I hadn't closed that window a second ago. I was gonna find out what else is in this. What else is in this landscaping tool that we can explore before I wrap it up there. Where is my where is Oliver's post? Oh, we also have an interesting conversation for the Discord channel, if you guys are ever interested. There's been a lot of updates from one of our teaching assistants, and from Hannah, and Oliver's also in the Discord. Let me just try to jump over here if I can get Discord open. Where is it right now? The Discord is really our public-facing communication. So we have Slack, which is internal. You have to be invited into Slack as a student of the schools, or one of the schools that are with us. And then we have our CG Spectrum Discord, where you can just join. Whoever wants to join joins. And you just have to join through going to the rules and then checking the box to say that you've read all the requirements and that you want to be part of it, and then you'll get access to some of the channels here that allow you to basically have a place to chat. Slack is only for the VIPs. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that we have it set up in a way that even if you like, I just found this out recently. It's too bad, unfortunately, but if you withdraw from the course, we have to kick you out of Slack. And I'm like, that sucks. But I guess there's a lot of subtlety there that you could get into if you think about it. But it's like the Slack really is just either alumni or people currently in the registered in the course, but you do get to stay there forever once you've, as an alumni, we want you to be around. But Discord is there for people who just want to see what's going on and chat. We have Oliver has a nice monthly student meetup that happens, and we've totally rearranged everything from Hannah's tweaks and fixes. She's been doing an amazing job. She basically just took the keys and ran with it. But here's our community, our voice channel in Discord where you can have a chat, and that's where we're gonna have our meetup coming on I think it's the 5th of May, I think. We're gonna have that. So not this Saturday. Audrey's happy, relieved that she's gonna be an alumni. And so is Sarah. Yeah, Sarah's gonna be here. I don't think we can ever get rid of Audrey. That's very true. There's actually a double alumni. So yeah, she was here. She was allowed to be here before she even started at ColorArts because she had already finished with CG Spectrum before that. She's gonna be 80 years old and speak of my teeth. My teeth. My dentures. Just not doing very good today. Close to that. Whatever, Sarah. Making me feel old. Oh, Hard IK, welcome. Hey, you made it. Nice. Glad you made it to our stream today again. I'm glad you made it to last week's stream too. What's funny was Deepak didn't realize that our streams were 2 hours, so he was quickly trying to frantically wrap it up after, like, he went over an hour by about 10-15 minutes, and then I'm like afterwards going, hey man, you could have just stayed for 2 hours, dude. You didn't have to wrap it up. It's like, oh, so he didn't really mean to cut the whole thing short. But anyway, we'll probably have him back again and let him keep sharing his cool ideas. If he wants to. Not because I don't want him to, because if he's okay with coming back again. Alright, you're late. No, don't worry. We're actually having some fun right now. We're trying to figure out what it is we're gonna do next. Sarah's nearly 43. See, I'm turning 40 this year, so if you're saying you're 80, then I'm not far behind. Audrey says, because my new teeth will be awesome. Oh, that's why. Because you're going to put new teeth in. Yeah. Well, by that time, the future, we'll be able to grow our teeth through some awesome DNA tweaks that we can do. Apparently that's almost a thing. You can actually, like, re-trigger your body to grow your tooth again. I don't know if that's real, but that's what I read somewhere. There we go. I may need some new teeth soon, says Sarah. Sarah, don't we all? You know what you're talking about. See, this is happening. Jeez, you guys really are old. We're all old. We're talking about teeth. That turned out the truth. I turned 30 this year. Audrey, oh, you turned 30 this year. Oh man, we're exactly 10 years apart then. Bio 3D printing. Yeah, that's another way to do teeth. Shark teeth. Just put some shark DNA in there. I would like some shark teeth, please. That could be so ridiculous. Anyways, wow. What month? Oh, December. December 24th is my birthday. So I've got a few months to go. Thinking, hey, I'm still 30s. I'm still in my 30s. And then then reality will eventually hit and be like, crap. I've heard that they're printing 3D printing organs, human ones. Oh yeah. Oh. I wonder how possible that is right now. Just a set of 60 teeth rolling. Sucks in terms of gifts. Oh, we're talking about the December 24th birthday. Yeah, it does. Well, it really sucked as a kid in terms of birthday parties. I mean, how are you supposed to have a birthday party on Christmas Eve? It just doesn't work. Although I still did manage to have a few, but they were like early, a little week early or so. It's insane. That's insane, Sarah. Oh, for 3D printing organs. Yeah, if they can do 3D printing organs, that would be a massive game changer. We are really off topic here, aren't we? For implants. Wait. That's not what you meant. Santa brings cakes. Yeah, that's right. I had lots of Christmas Eve cakes. I still do. What am I talking about? Every year. Which is nice. I'm not gonna complain. I never did figure out what I was gonna do. Let me see if I can actually try to get back on track here and make sure that everybody's still getting something interesting out of here. Just wanted to check this video while we're doing this. This is a free asset that we were talking about before, and this is what we're working with in Unreal right now. And I just wanted to see if there's anything else cool in here before I bail on the thing and try to figure out what else we're gonna do. And if anybody has anything they wanted me to take a look at, feel free to bring it up. Content King, hey, welcome. They're already working on making bioprinting faster. Oh, so they're just a matter of speed right now. A January baby says, oh, it means people are poor, so they don't get you anything. Yeah, I was gonna talk about that. Like, at least in January, you're the oldest of the class, but if you're born at like the last day of December, especially if it's just before like New Year's, that's got to be like the worst birthday ever. It's like everybody's sick and tired of celebrations, and then like they're too distracted by New Year's, and then you're like the youngest of all the years. It's like the worst of all. Sorry for anybody who's born right before New Year's. And this is like, we're talking North American New Year's. Or whatever. I don't even know how to say that. How do you say New Year's in sort of like a collection of cultures that celebrate it on that day? Kinda King says, how's it going? It's going good. We're actually looking for something to talk about. Audrey says, if there's internet, I'd live there. Oh yeah. How's yourself in the internet world? There is an idea that we could explore some of the new assets from this month's Epic thing. I was actually, let me just do a double check to make sure that there's anything that was like, oh, why didn't I talk about that? Strike a pose animation pack. This one's pretty crazy. There's like 600 poses, which seems ridiculously like, why would anyone make 600 poses? But I think half of them are mirrored, so you just got a pose that goes one way and a pose that goes the other way. I can see that being useful, but it's so specific. Might be useful though. I can definitely see a lot of people going, hey, that's pretty handy. There is a whole conversation about how to retarget and how to bring those into your character. I seem to cover that almost every time I have a stream. So I may not try to get into that today necessarily, but we may come into it later. Especially when we start talking about control rig, Unreal control rig, and how to like bake animation data onto the control rig, that kind of stuff. I'm very curious to see that workflow. Advanced RPG system, very neat for sure. I have no desire to make an RPG right now, so I don't really have much value to that, but that's one of those perfect examples of put that in your library for the day that you decided to make an RPG. You can just start with that. Some light foliage, very useful. Might be useful for what we're trying to do right now. Let me just do that right now. Let's throw this into our project. I can never remember what this landscape's called. Auto landscape. I don't know why I have so much trouble with that. Auto landscape project. I'm gonna add it, and we'll have some foliage we can work with. And we'll do some painting, foliage painting. All right. Content King, do you have any experience in Unreal? Anything cool to share? Okay, so hopefully there's some stuff in here. Oh, light foliage, here it is. So in here we got some meshes, and these are just single static meshes, which we can take a look at, and then we'll talk about how to paint them on there. Where the heck did I put it? Here it is. Gotta do some shader compiling first before they're actually working. Oh, we got some rock assets too, that'd be handy. Audrey, once I opened Unreal, it crashed and I never opened it again. Oh no! That's a terrible start. Does this happen recently? It's like, I give up. I can try to help at least say something if you have any definition of why it crashed. Did it like, I mean in terms of what it did when it crashed. The drama. Did it like show up a window that said it crashed? Did it tell you anything? Like, did you get any kind of hint? Maybe it's the video drivers, or... It takes forever to download this software too. It's like 11 gigs or something. It's like, oh, I finally got it downloaded, installed, crash. I would almost even argue, you know, just try opening it twice. See what happens the second time. Just kind of stopped. Was it stuck loading? Because sometimes it takes a long time for it to load, depending on what it is. If it's like 45% and then just doesn't move, you just keep waiting for like a really long time. It's possible that your computer's not powerful enough. I don't know, it depends on what your specs are, but sometimes you get onboarded video cards that are like have no video memory. Sometimes, I don't know. There's all kinds of weird reasons. But I haven't actually had any problems lately. Okay, so here's our foliage. We're gonna do some painting with it. We're gonna jump over to our different tool set here for doing foliage painting. And we're gonna grab some of these assets and throw them in to the tool. Why? There we go. I don't know why that didn't work the first time. We're gonna put bushes, trees, and rocks. And you can put as many as you wanted into it. And then with that there, or in paint mode, I can just click and paint, and it's gonna create a lot. I mean, it's not normally creating a lot, but obviously you can see it created a whole bunch here of those 3 assets that I just added. If I want the density to be a lot less, here it is, density. I can put this down to 0.1. And I'm gonna hold shift and unpaint it, and then I repaint it again. So there's the density's a lot less. I guess we can make the size a lot bigger. Ooh, I like how you can just, they've sort of shifted where this is now, and I'm not familiar with it. But you can see like it's running pretty smoothly, even though we have a whole bunch of these assets being printed. And if you really wanted to, you could print like bazillions of them. And it doesn't really change my frame rate because they're all LODing. As it goes further away, they're changing their level of detail. But if you wanted to maybe like say get rid of all the rocks, you can turn off the bushes and the flowers, hold shift to erase, and then paint, and you'll just undo the rocks. So then it's just the flowers and the bushes instead. So you're kind of able to like decide how you want to add or remove things more specifically. So that could technically be done automatically using the material rather than like this landscape material, but because we never actually got it working, this would be an alternative way to do it. That's it's beautiful. That's beautiful. And a rocky mountain. It's pretty amazing. I mean, this tool came out quite a while ago now, but it really has. It was one of these giant bottlenecks that happened in making game production. Was like, how do you build a forest? And if you didn't have a tool like this, it required a very, very painstaking process of somebody having to basically place each tree and then randomize it. So like on top of just adding these objects, they're also let's see here, how do I do this again? There it is. They also have all sorts of individual settings of how you want them to be planted and whether you want the placement to have offsets and randomness for its angle. So if you had trees, you can change the angles a bit or change the scaling and make sure that those trees end up looking a lot more random. And I mean, it's virtually impossible to do this by hand. It's without making it look like you know, procedurally planted it. So it is pretty cool. One rock at a time. Yeah. There was, I did work on a project at Silicon Knights. This is 2009, 2008 or so, where we had a environment artist who was hand placing trees in a forest. That was his job. It was a difficult time because we didn't have any tools at the moment for solving it. So his job was just to plant trees, and he would spend all day planting trees. But we all knew that was like an extremely inefficient way to do it. But we're like, well, we don't have the capacity to build the automatic tree making device, so you're just gonna spend the time making trees manually. Yeah, we all did kind of give him a good sympathy pat on the back because we were like, that sounds really boring. Where is the, I want to go back to the free assets and see what else we got here. It was the someone has to do it, yeah. I mean, you're getting paid for your time, so it's hard to complain too much, but it doesn't really make you excited to work in the games industry. Low poly, and then this is, but again, this was like 12 years ago, so I'm not really trying to say that this is a thing that you have to worry about necessarily. Not trying to discourage anybody from getting in the games industry. I think you could probably find an equal comparison though, I'm sure, in some other aspect that's current today where you have to do it manually and it's like, oh, this is painful. This is kind of neat. Low poly styled Deluxe 2 tropical environment. Whoa. I haven't actually looked at this closely yet. Wow, that's pretty handy looking. You know, assuming that your theme is pirates and Caribbean. Oh. That's kind of neat. And the Endless Runner. Ooh, I like low poly. That's good. Well, there is a whole bunch of low poly. Oh, so Louis, there's also a very interesting thing that you may want to know about, which I don't know if this will... sure, it'll help you. There's a whole channel that you can join for... There's no limit to it. No, this is career dev class. You can join career dev class if you want to. Darn, where is the other one? Project? No, that's the other one. Where do I find it? Too many channels. Here it is, CGS Game Framework. So the game design group, I'm gonna be a concept artist, draws 50 trees. That's so true. Perfect comparison, well done. I missed that all, by the way, that message. For free, Lapale, creative class, CGS game framework. There it is. Yes, found it. You can join it. It's a public channel, and basically, game design is creating a framework for people to make game design from, which they've been working on since the beginning of the year. So it's fairly new and not finished completely. But I don't know if you could ever say it was finished because it's always evolving. But if you go to the top of the channel where this is pinned, there's this subtle little link right here that takes you to a Google Drive where you can find all of whatever's going on currently and installing it, but also getting the current release. Anyway, there are 8 gigabytes of data, and there's all this good content pack stuff in here. So polygon packs, all sorts of interesting low poly meshes and content in here that you can grab. That's all owned by CGS. Hard IK, is it discard? CG Spectrum. Oh no, this is, sorry Hard IK. Oh man, it's no, this is inside of Slack, so yeah, you won't be able to access this. And we paid money for these assets too, so we wouldn't be able to just provide it to everybody. But for people that are in CG Spectrum, it's a great resource to be able to populate your scene and work with stuff that they're all low poly, but it's intended for game designers to be able to build their games with. So lots of good stuff in there anyways. And it's always growing and building. And I think if you really wanted to see what I'm talking about, I can find it in the marketplace. Shoot, if I can just find a name. Oh yeah, and then these ones too, action male and female. These are the ones that Scott just bought recently. See if I can recognize it. Nope. Not doing a very good job right now. Well, let's find the other ones. They called Simplygon, Polygon Dungeons. These ones are, you'll see them up a lot. Oh my goodness. Come on, give me something. Here we go. Polygon. Yeah, so these packs. There's lots of them out there. It's on Slack, Hard IK, which is the school chat. Hard IK would love to enroll in our school. He's asked me about it before, but I think the cost is preventing him from being able to get in, which is kind of a shame. But we do have Discord, and I'm glad you saw that you know, as an alternative thing that you can join in and be part of us and see what we can do. But we're trying to keep Discord as like it's a fun place people can go and have fun, and it does do news announcements, and it gives help to people who want to know how to enroll in the school. Like, it's supposed to be our public facing place, but you know, Hannah's really done an amazing job of just turning it into like more of what Discord is normally like, as opposed to us not having a clue what we're doing. And she's doing a really nice job of just like maintaining it, managing it. So hopefully we'll get more people in there feeling more comfortable to talk, and turn it into a nice casual social place. And then Discord or Slack is supposed to be where, you know, the mentors are going to be there. You can ask questions, get answers, and we know that people who are asking questions are people who are part of the schools, and we can invest time into answering them. And that's kind of why we have them separated. Louis wants to be part of the game development. Oh, that's hilarious. I'm like alluring him into different directions here. To collaborate. Yeah, well, and I like how you're talking about that, because we do have a place for people are asking for collaborations, and they definitely, you know, it's unfortunate we have people who say, "Can I'm looking for something," and often we wouldn't get very many people replying to it. So I try to like push that, hey, there's something you can do to help somebody else and work together and really get something started. But it's really hard to do collaboration projects. Alright, okay, did some awesome expressions there. Audrey says, doing great job. Great. I can start to speak on there. I never stop. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Well, we need people like Audrey to keep the conversation going, because it's funny, because in the Slack world, we were like, for years, well, we had it since like 2017, I think, our Slack community. And for a long time, we just couldn't get people to like talk. And we're like, hey, we're here, come on. And we couldn't get the mentors to talk, we couldn't get the students to talk. And we're like, trying to get it to work. And then I guess in 2019 or whatever, it just, something clicked. And all of a sudden now it's like, whoop, everybody's talking. And I mean, our school got a lot bigger too, but it's now feeling like, oh, there's always something happening in Slack, which is really neat and fun. But we don't want to lose that. So we're like, how do we keep this? Just do what you guys are doing. Doing good. We need people like Audrey to be like always chatting up everything. It's great. The great job. It's a reference to Gretzky, I think. That's what you're trying to say. That's what I thought it was. And I come and no one stopped. You're welcome. Yeah. I was just in a random meeting with Maxine the other day, and it was a UX meeting, and she brought Audrey up as like I don't even remember what the context was, but of course it was like, you know, the person who's very social wins the award for most social. Oh, that's what it was. We were talking about maybe gamifying Slack. We're like, Audrey would win. So that was fun. I only need to get paid by baguettes and croissants. So French. Classic. Hey, Audrey, you are the bomb of the Slack. Yeah, you are everywhere. You're in all the channels. Anytime there's like, oh, animation, and it's like, oh yeah, there's Audrey. All right, I'm really running out of stuff now. I've gone through all my tricks here. Oh, I was actually gonna take a look at Endless Runner. I never really got to this yet. So there we go. We got a little. I've only got like 8 more minutes left. So if you guys have anything you want to talk about, feel free to bring it up. Now's your chance to ask me a really difficult question. The last minute. How does animation work? Oh my goodness. Easy to update UI styles. Multiple unique gaming types. Endless Runner Creator. Load run. LE runner. Oh, runners like this. Oh, see, I thought it was run cycles. Flappy Bird runners. That's what it was. No channel is safe. That's right. If you call that dangerous, I don't know. This is fun though. I like this concept. This is something my son might be able to like just, you know, make something with. Look, it's an endless runner. You can make it. What do you want to do? And then just put it together. Might be worth trying out. And you can put our own custom assets in that you're running past. Yeah. Maybe I'll do that. We'll jump back over to Unreal. I wonder if there's anything else we can talk about. I wonder if there's anything else I missed. Let me just browse through here. We got Arctic Snow share assets. Wow. Examples. Oh, we got some examples maps. Oh no, where's maps? Here it is. Oh, it's just the showcase. Surfaces. Ooh, no, the example map is notably a different file. It's much better. kind of like Floppy Bird. That's what happens when you don't win. Louis, I will call myself that. When is 5 minutes remaining and you finally remember that huge question for your mentor? Yeah, exactly. This is what happens though. I'll get like really crazy questions with like 1 minute left. I'll be like, oh my goodness, where were you like 30 minutes ago? So we can't talk about animation principles last minutes. You have that question waiting, don't you? Or he's got it written out, everything. Just has to hit enter on it. Audrey, oh, what's the meaning of life? 42. There, Sarah knows the answer. She knows the book. I was gonna say the movie, but I think it's more authentic to say the book. What is this crazy lens flare that's going on here? That is weird. Oh, it only shows up sometimes. Weird. Oh, this must be for the light foliage. That's why we're getting all this foliage stuff here. Alright. I'm in the wrong map section here. Oh, here we go. Arctic snow. Try this one. Content King, do you know anything about Blender? Actually, I don't know anything about Blender. It's one of these softwares that I'm like, one day I'm going to learn how to do Blender. But I just need a good excuse to do it. And I do have a student right now who's like trying to export stuff from Blender into Unreal and having trouble with it. And I was like, oh, I just have to install Blender and I could start doing it. So it might be my excuse to finally get Blender running. And maybe we'll do it in the open session. Just see what it's like to try to export something from Blender. I don't expect it to be too crazy or weird, but at least it gets me installing the software and started with it. Audrey says, see, Sarah, did you see the meme that actually uses math to prove 42 might be the actual answer to life and everything? Wow, that sounds interesting. It's a flex to say that you like the book better. That's what you're supposed to say. The book was better than the movie. I can't honestly say I read the book. I just watched the movie. I'm not really a book reader, so it's not that surprising for anybody that knows me. Louis, totally gonna try composite some scene in Unreal. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Oh, if you're gonna do some renderings in Unreal, by the way, I don't know if you probably already know this, but I'm just gonna bring it up anyways because it's a pretty new feature. You go to the plugins and you find Movie Render Queue and you enable this. It's the new feature for doing high quality video renders for film, and it performs the other rendering technique that you do in Sequencer. So it's the way to go for sure. And once you enable it, you can access it from Cinematics here and open it up. It's a little weird and boring to look at, but it does actually give you lots of great options that you couldn't do before to be able to produce nice high quality renders. Can I share a Slack chat? You can share a Slack chat? You can chat with me on Slack. What's the right chat for that? Oh, can you share some of your work on a Slack chat? Is that what you're trying to say? We have the real-time channel, general, real-time 3D. Anything that's Unreal based goes there. Try to avoid putting it in a game design because they have their own specific conversation. So any general stuff that's made in Unreal can go here. Sure. Wow, these guys are talking like crazy here. Oh, Louis, show us what you do. Yeah, Louis always has awesome stuff. He does not suffer from shyness. And I wanted to learn Blender, and it's an open session. Oh no, we go back to the the conversation about open session channels. That's funny. I want to be a 3D journalist someday. Yeah. Hey, that's a good skill. You know, it's a really hard skill. I don't usually encourage students to do it, But if you've already got a good skill that you feel pretty comfortable in, it's pretty awesome to reach out and be a generalist. But it comes after you get a job, in my opinion. Don't try to do it before you get a job. Sarah says, I vaguely recall it, but I'm old. What? Blender? Oh, right. Because I was gonna ask if you know how to add a rig in Blender. Oh yeah, okay. Well, that's a great question, Content King. I definitely would like to know that answer too. I wish I could show you some tools or some tricks for it, but I really, yeah, I mean, I'm about as blank on Blender as the rest of the noobs who don't know how to use Blender. Louis, thanks. Cool, thanks. Unreal Render. I mean, Render. See, Simon, what you make me lose. What? I don't know what that means. Ash Blossom, welcome. That's good. I'm learning Blender for 2 months and I'm improving a lot. 8 hours a day. Yes, well, 8 hours a day, you'll definitely improve a lot. I can't say that you're going to waste your time learning Blender. It's definitely a great software to learn. It's just unfortunately not used very much in the industry yet, potentially, question mark. And that's the only reason why we teach Maya in our courses, because that really is the software you're going to use when you get hired somewhere. But I do respect Blender, and I think it's a really neat, interesting alternative. So I would really like to one day get my hands on it and start doing stuff with it. Content King, I have looked it up and I haven't found anything. What? For rigs? Oh, for using rigs in Blender. Interesting. That sounds suspiciously like you're just looking up the wrong thing, because there's got to be ways to do rigs in Blender. Where to show the Unreal Render on Slack? Yeah. Did I get it to you? Is that where did we get the answer for you on that one? Put it up on general real-time 3D. I'll throw an adult tantrum till I get to go to the 3D open session. Yeah, I got that written down in my notes, so I'm gonna bring that up. You never know if Brandon's okay with it, and you may all of a sudden find out you've been added to the 3D open session. I'm not gonna put that on Brandon as his fault if he says no, though. But I mean, it's definitely a conversation that needs to be discussed, because it does come up with have its negative implications too. Thanks for all, Simon. Bye, guys. Yeah, appreciate that you're here. I am also going to wrap up. Actually, I probably could just switch over to my main cam here. What do you think about ZBrush? There's a great question right there, right at the last minute. I don't actually know ZBrush very well either. It's one of those tools where I've said, no, that's out of my range. I can't learn everything. ZBrush is too complex for me to try to get my hands on. So I'm leaving that to the modelers to figure out. Louis, yeah, that was asking you. Asking you answered. Yeah. Okay. Good. Whew. Ash Bless, I'm learning Blender because I want to go to Maya. I already learned the most I can, so I'm modeling a lot to do with environment art. Yeah. All right. Well, Maya is definitely a good software to learn. Once you learn one, you can really transfer to the other pretty quickly. So hopefully that works out for you. Have a great weekend. Thank you for the stream. Thanks, Simon. Enjoy the long weekend. How do blueprints work? There you go. Perfect last minute question. Way to go, Sarah. That was fantastic. All right, everybody. Thanks. Thanks for the stream. Appreciate all the fun and conversations. And I will be back again next week, I'm pretty sure, unless Will jumps in surprisingly. But otherwise, we'll see what we're going on then. All right. Take care, everybody. Cheers.